Coming up today, the wait is almost over. In 6 hours from now, the world will know what wording Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will use in his statement marking the 70th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II. China continues to count the cost of the devastating Tianjin explosion. 50 people have been confirmed dead. Automakers, including Hyundai Motor, are also reporting that thousands of cars were destroyed in the blast. Fast Samsung Electronics launches 2 new smartphones and its mobile payment system, Samsung Pay, at a huge press event in New York City. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello, it's noon on Friday, the 14th of August. You're tuned in to our midday newscast here on Arirang TV. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Broome. Our top story this afternoon: Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will issue a new historical statement this Friday to mark the 70th anniversary of the end of World War II. Media outlets in Japan say Abe will hold an extra cabinet meeting this afternoon to seek final approval of the statement. After the cabinet endorsement, he will hold a press conference at his office at 6 p.m. local time, where he will read the statement, followed by additional comments regarding the background of the statement. The most controversial issue has been whether Abe will include a clear apology and repentance for Japan's colonial rule and wartime aggression, as was done previously by his predecessors. A 1995 statement by then Prime Minister Tomiichi Murayama and a 2005 statement by Junichiro Koizumi both contained the phrase heartfelt apology. Abe's statement will be concurrently released in English, while the Japanese government plans to issue a translated version in Korean and Chinese later. Events are being held around the world today to remember the victims of sexual slavery during World War II. August 14th is the International Memorial Day for the so-called comfort women. The Memorial Day was established in 2013 as a day to pay respect to late comfort woman Kim Hak-sun. She was the first victim to bring international attention to the issue of Japanese sex slavery during the Second World War, when she went public with her story back in 1991. Events today include dance performances and a night vigil in front of the Taipei office of Japan's Interchange Association. There will also be an academic symposium in Seoul that will bring together Korean, Chinese and Japanese experts to discuss the issue. At least 200,000 women and girls were forced to serve as sex slaves for the Imperial Japanese Army in the early to mid-20th century. The victims include women from Korea, China, Taiwan, the Philippines and the Netherlands. South Korean activists released balloons carrying anti-Pyongyang leaflets over the inter-Korean border today, despite the North's threat to shoot them down. The fighters for Free North Korea say they released 10 balloons containing 200,000 leaflets at around 10 a.m. Korea time from Yeoncheon County, Gyeonggi-do Province. This new location is about 10 kilometers away from the originally planned launch site of Imjingak in Paju. The group of mostly North Korean defectors said the original plan for 11 a.m. was moved up due to a change in the wind direction and to avoid police intervention. The leaflets carry messages condemning the North for last week's landmine explosion on the South Korean side of the DMZ that seriously injured 2 South Korean troops. North Korea's propaganda website had warned that Pyongyang would take, quote, aimed shots at the balloons. It also labelled the campaign a military provocation and a declaration of war. Now, starting tomorrow, North Korea will be in its own time zone, dubbed Pyongyang time. Last week, the regime's state-run Korean Central News Agency said North Korea will set its clocks back 30 minutes on August 15th to mark the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan. Now, the change will reset North Korean clocks to the time kept prior to Japanese colonization. North Korea is currently, at least, in the same time zone as South Korea and Japan, 9 hours ahead of GMT. South Korea has expressed concern the move could cause inconveniences for their jointly run Kaesong Industrial Complex and complicate efforts to narrow differences between the two Koreas. Now, China is taking stock after this week's massive explosion in Tianjin that killed at least 50 people and injured several hundreds more, with the aftermath of the blast looking akin to something you might see in a Hollywood blockbuster. Companies with operations there, such as Automakers, are expected to suffer immense financial losses. Kim Min-ji reports.
Korea's largest automaker, Hyundai Motor, is estimated to have suffered nearly $140 million in damages as a result of the explosions at the Chinese port of Tianjin. According to industry sources, Hyundai had roughly 4,000 cars near the area, the majority of which were luxury sedan models like the Genesis and Equus. Most Hyundai vehicles to be sold in China are produced locally, but premium models are still exported from Korea. A company official said it will take time to determine the extent of the damages, but that insurance coverage should help reduce any significant losses. French carmaker Renault had about 1,500 cars damaged, which is expected to result in losses of over $33 million based on the price of its cheapest model sold in China. Renault said the vehicles were in a warehouse which caught fire and was severely damaged. Nearly 3,000 Volkswagens were also damaged in the explosions. In a statement, the German carmaker said it did not have an official tally of how many vehicles were destroyed yet, adding that it will make deliveries via ports in Shanghai and Guangzhou in the meantime. While investigations are underway to determine the exact cause and extent of the losses, officials say they expect it to take a considerable amount of time. The explosion happened at a company warehouse late Wednesday in Tianjin. Kim Min-ji, Arirang News.
Samsung Electronics has unveiled two new high-end smartphones at a glitzy press event in New York City. The sooner-than-expected launch is in line with the Korean company's efforts to peg back its arch-rival Apple in the North American market. Son Jung-in has more.
The co-CEO of Samsung Electronics took to the stage to showcase the brand new Galaxy Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus at the company's Unpacked event in New York City on Thursday.
The Note didn't just succeed, it created a category.
Thinner and slimmer than its predecessor, the Galaxy Note 5 allows users to take notes on their devices even when the display is off to save ideas that just popped into their heads. As for the bigger version of the curved smartphone, the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, it comes with a feature in which users can add favorite icons on the Edge display to get faster and easier access.
And I think, yes, with these new designs from Samsung, these are absolutely fantastic new smartphones that absolutely beat Apple in almost every factor right now.
Topping off an exciting day for the company, Samsung also launched its mobile payment system, Samsung Pay, pre-installed in the two new phablets and the ones released in April. The service will be available in Korea from August 20th and from September 28th in the United States. Industry experts say Samsung's earlier release and change in location of the showcase comes as Apple is set to launch its new iPhone models next month. Samsung Electronics remains the leader in the global smartphone market, but the company's earnings have been eroded by the rise of Chinese firms and Apple's latest iPhones. The Galaxy Note 5 and the Galaxy S6 Edge Plus will officially go on sale next Friday in the United States and Canada and around the world from later this month. Son Jung-in, Arirang News.
Now, the government's drive to reorganize the country's loan structure appears to be on track. The Financial Services Commission says the ratio of amortized and fixed-rate loans is on the rise. Now, amortized loans, which allow borrowers to pay back in monthly installments against the principal and interest, accounted for a third of all household loans as of the end of June. Loans on a fixed rate also accounted for 33%. The government wants to raise the ratio of amortized and fixed rate loans to tackle the country's snowballing household debt. The figures top the government's target of 30%. Thanks to the introduction this year of so-called relief loans, which allow mortgage borrowers to switch to low fixed-rate repayment plans, financial authorities are hoping to raise the ratio to above 40% by 2017. Now, from aid receiver to donor and now Asia's fourth largest economy, Korea has racked up some unbelievable records on the way to achieving its current stature in the global economy. For more on how the Korean economy has evolved in terms of status and statistics, Song Ji-sun reports.
Korea's remarkable post-war economic growth is often referred to as the miracle on the Han River for its rapid industrialization, technological achievements, and urbanization. Now, GDP has surged 31,000 times since 1953, from $41 million that year to $1.4 trillion in 2014. And today, Korea is the 13th largest economy in the world in terms of purchasing power. The country's gross national income per capita jumped to $28,000 last year, from just $67 per person in the same period. Now, all of this has been made possible by Korea's robust export growth. Korea is currently the world's sixth largest exporter, with over $573 billion last year, from $25 million in 1956. The country has also grown in size, with the population more than doubling since independence from Japan. Now, half the population lives in the metropolitan areas, with 10 million in Seoul. With the rapid development of the health and welfare systems, Korea's life expectancy has risen from 62 to 82. But questions remain about whether quality of life has improved alongside the country's rapid economic growth. And several indicators reveal a darker side of the Korean society. Now, for example, the suicide rate soared to 28 per 100,000 people in 2013 from 8 in 1983. Now, that's the highest among the OECD member countries. The income gap is also rising by the decade, meaning the country will also have to act soon to address the disparity. Song Ji-sun, Arirang News.
Now, Saturday marks Korea's 70th Liberation Day, a time for celebration and reflection for Koreans. So it's timely that a stage production has opened right here in Seoul that brings to life the triumphs and pain endured by Koreans living under Japanese colonial rule. Won Ji-yeon reports.
A tale of love and the painful struggles of Koreans during Japanese colonial rule in the early 20th century. This is the heart of the musical production Arirang, based on an epic novel written by renowned author Cho Jung-rae. After 3 long years of preparation, it's finally taken center stage with over 50 original songs performed by a star-studded cast, including the famous singer-slash-actor An Jae-uk.
Although all of us are very tired and exhausted at this point, we hope that our performance of Arirang will create an emotional breakthrough for the audience.
There was a lot of pressure to get this going, especially since the original book was 12 volumes long. The hardest part in creating the musical was letting go of the stress.
The opening of this production is timely as it comes 70 years after Korea's liberation and reminds us of the sacrifices that were made for freedom. Arirang will run daily at the LG Art Center in Seoul through September 5th. Won Ji-hyun, Arirang News.
Now, today is a national holiday here in Korea, so you might still be deciding what to do during the long holiday weekend. Those of you with some extra time on your hands might want to head to the cinema for a film that aims to encapsulate the spirit of Korea's Liberation Day. Kim Ji-yeon reports.
Set during Japan's colonial rule of Korea, Assassination is about a group of Korean independence fighters who plot against 2 key figures in the ruling class, a Japanese governor and a Korean collaborator. More than 9 million local viewers have seen the film since it opened late last month. The timing of its release in the run-up to the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation from Japan's colonial rule on Saturday may have helped generate some extra buzz. But for some, the director is also a draw. The film is the latest by Choi Dong-hoon, who last dominated box offices with his mega hit Thieves. Choi says he was determined to make this film, even though people advise him against it.
But I really wanted to make this movie so that viewers can understand the reality of what people during that period were confronting.
The story set in 1930 shows the harsh reality of life in Korea under Japanese colonial rule. To be fair, critics say it's difficult for a period film set during the colonial era to garner mass appeal.
When there's too much focus on historical events, the plot can be difficult to follow. If the events aren't portrayed correctly, the film may be seen as nothing more than shallow entertainment. So for producers, movies about Japanese colonization aren't easy.
Another challenge for Choi was the cost. Despite the box office numbers, the movie isn't expected to generate a huge profit. With a production budget of nearly $16 million, it needed 7 million viewers to just break even.
I enjoyed the movie. I laughed at some parts and was moved by others.
If it does reach the 10 million mark, Assassination will become the 12th Korean movie to do so, along with Thieves. Kim Jeon, Arirang News.
And to commemorate the 70th anniversary of Korea's liberation, a number of festivities will take place in Seoul starting today. The celebrations kick off with a special concert Friday evening on the eve of Liberation Day. The concert will take place in Seoul Plaza in the center of the capital from 7:30 p.m. Korea time. The lineup will feature some of Korea's biggest stars like Yang Hee-eun, In Sunni and girl group Sistar. The concert will also include a multimedia show. It will close with singer Lee Seung-chul singing with a choir of young North Korean defectors. The event will be broadcast live right here on Arirang TV. And those are the stories we have for you on this Friday afternoon in Seoul. For more of the latest, don't forget to check out our website, arirang.com/news. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.